Okay, so it's just after 4. I'm so out of it. Oh my god. Um, whenever they wake me up and I'm in a deep dream, I'm so out of it. So weird feeling. I just feel like, ugh. And I was watching some videos, and it was like filling up my head too much. And I only saw a couple. Whenever that happens, it's just like I gotta stop and just talk, and I don't even know. So we'll just see where it goes. The one thing is on my hair thing, because I was thinking, well, is it growing in white? Like, some things are so frustrating. I can tell though the whiteness is this. Like, you can see right there. You can see how this just keeps changing and getting darker and disappearing in the rest of the hair. Like, these used to be much longer. They get shorter and shorter. This used to be way up in here. This was all white. So, but anyways, when I was looking at that, I was like, dang, is it coming in white? And my tooth, oh motherfuck, man. Last night it was aching so bad. I was like, oh my fucking God, I'm not gonna be able to sleep. Finally, though, I went to sleep. But oh Jesus, I was like, I was thinking, fuck, maybe I'll just need to pull it. Oh my God. And I can get this battle going back and forth. No, it'll be fine. But anyways, let's just look at it. When I looked at it last night, it was all like darkness inside. So shit looks like darker again. And I don't know if it's just because there was so much to grow that it's just the because it's so hard to chew on this side. It doesn't matter if it's hard or soft. Like, if something hard hits into it, oh jeez. But always in my mind it goes to a skin knee. And I was super clumsy when I was a kid. I'm real lanky, and I was tall and thin and lanky. And so, I don't know, I was super, super clumsy. I'd run into things, hit into things, fall down all the time. And I fall and skin my knee all the time. And so maybe that's why, I'm seeing it through the skin knee process. But it would build back up. The skin would build back up where it was skinned off, but it would be super tender. It would be super tender. And a lot of times when it would build back up, like, I don't know that you could see so many of the scars now, but I remember for years and years, because I was an adult still, and I'd wear shorts or dresses or whatever, and you could see all these, like, I don't know, look kind of like hickeys or something on my knee of the remnants of the scabs and stuff that were on there from falling. And anyways, but the tenderness, like, it rebuilds, but it was be tender. I mean, now I go on my knee. I mean, it takes, for me, it seems took a long time, but then also we tell ourselves shit and we believe it. So I keep telling myself, oh, it's healing really fast. And so when I went to bed and it was hurting so bad, I just kept focusing and watching it build back up, build back up, build back up. But I still believe it's tender because all of the stuff building up isn't, it's just being built up. And so, but it was hurting, and I was like, oh my God, what if there's an infection in there and stuff? But they create so many infections in our mouth. Like, if I went in and said, here, pull it, that would probably create an infection. So it's like I gotta let my body fight whatever's going on. But anyways, it hurts. And I know mine was pretty damaged, my tooth, and it's taking a while to grow back. But anyways, it's back to dark again. So, and I'm still not using the higher alkaline stuff right now. I'm just using the Fig toothpaste, and it's FYGG, and and I got it off Amazon. It's like 15 or 13 bucks or something. And then the peroxide. So, and then, and it's still hurting. So I'll see if it stops hurting. And then I try that again and it starts hurting again. Then I'll probably stop using that again or whatever. But we all have a different acidic alkaline thing. Just like we all have a different code. We're all, yeah, representing a different code. The code that we represent is, it's like our badge. It's like our honor. It's, our code is a reflection of us, but it also is, I don't know, as a soul being, I think that we have a lot more pride in ourselves. Like, that's the weird distortion, is how everybody gets themselves so beat down. But like what I was saying yesterday, that is where they feel like we're so stupid because we forget who we are and how easily we are tricked. Yeah, that's funny because they're so low vibration and we're high, but they think that they are out smarting us, like, but really they aren't making real changes in us. Well, they make change in us through our code. So it's kind of like, you know, kind of like putting wallpaper on the walls, but it's not like really changing them, because then when we leave out of here, we're back to being high vibration. They can't turn us into them. And I don't know, what is their point? Like, are they trying to turn us into them because they're trying to turn the whole universe into a dark, heavy place? Or are they, I don't know. I always know when we come here and we put ourselves through this shit, but we approach it as a game of overcoming whatever it is they throw at us. And then some people are more successful than others at the game. I mean, that's just the way it is. But there still is a benefit, no matter what. When you go through the game, no matter how lost you get in it, you come out of it and you grow, because you see where you got lost. And so then you grow. So it kind of goes, it defeats their purpose, because we just expand and become smarter and more intelligent, more expansive or something. So, hold on. I was so conked out last night. And then Stella woke up one of the times. I think, I don't know, maybe her and I both woke up. And then it was hot. Like, I gotta get a fan. Fuck, it's hot in here. Especially in the tent. Especially in the sleeping bag in the tent. Which I gotta get in my little cocoon, because there's bugs and shit now. So, you know, Archie, he just goes up and eats bees and shit. It's like, dude, you're gonna get stung in the mouth. Stop it. I watched him the other day. It's so funny too. I was just thinking about this. It was like, because I don't like the Animal Planet kind of stuff, you know, like nature versus nature. And at my old house, I was watching this bee and a spider fight. They were fighting it out, and it was battle zone, man. They were just battling. And the bee's trying to sting the spider's trying to bite the bee and stuff. And it was this huge battle. I think I was thinking about, because the cats with this now, I don't know, there's been a few dead mice left, 3 dead bunnies. You know, I was like, man, it's so weird. Like, how many animals in life just kill just for the fun of it? Like, that they don't eat it. That they just kill it just to kill it. And I even said that to my mom yesterday, and she said, yeah, they do. Like, they just do it for the kill of it or whatever. And I was like, man, that's weird. But I was thinking about that spider and the bee. It's like, who do you start cheering for? It might have been a wasp or a hornet or something. I don't think it was like a little honeybee. Spider would have just conquered it. It was big. And I don't remember if it was a wasp or a hornet. It was big. And And it was battling, man. And they were fighting. They weren't up in the web. They had fallen down, I think, on the ground at this point. And so I was watching them, and they were like next to me, and I was like, fuck, man, I don't even know. I guess I'm voting for the spider. It's like, I don't even like to watch that. But anyways, it was just, I had that stuff on my mind yesterday. And maybe that's what led to this dream. I don't know. Because I was going deep into, like when I go into sleep, I go so deep into it, which, you know, the moon's not ever out here. So it's every day I go out there and look, there's no moon. There's about a zillion ships or beings or whatever around. There's tons. When I open, they start flashing lights and stuff. And so, I don't know. I mean, they're here for a purpose, but there's no moon. And so then I was like, I've been having a lot of telepathy things. I mean, there's way more, like listening or whatever. But so and so it kind of starts confusing me over, you know, when I'm talking to my mom, I'm talking in telepathy, and then it's like, who did I say this to? When did I say? Where did this happen? It's weird. It's like I'm getting so lost in this world or something that like I can't. It's like I don't know how. It's like there's no day or night. There's no time. There's just these little things that happen, and then we try and connect them. Which more people are talking now about those guys from India and walking. And somebody in the comments said FOR instead of FOUR, maybe is what he meant. When she said, we've been walking. And she's like, what are you talking about? And he said, we've been walking for days. And she keeps trying to push, well, what airport? And they keep saying, we're not from the airport. We've been walking for days. And then somebody had said that and I was like, oh, that could be. Maybe it wasn't exactly 4 days. Maybe it was 4 days. But the person who was talking about this time was saying about the continents being connected in the Tartarian map. And I know they're lying to us about the maps. And there's a place in Texas or something, and it's opening up with all these sinkholes, and the ground is splitting apart. And this farmer guy is out there showing it all the time. And he's like, you know, tripping out. And then in Florida, it just got announced that their sea floor has dropped, which is going to set more into motion. Can't remember. Yeah, but Florida's already kind of been warned too. They're about to have all these big storms. And so the naval, somebody did a thing showing all these maps. So Edgar Casey, you know, when I talk about the Doomsday map or the naval projected map, so it could have possibly originated with Edgar Casey, but I still think that the government, who has access to Looking Glass and stuff, that they know stuff's gonna happen. But it must be probably the same thing as like when I look up at something, you see it like it's a motion picture kind of like. It doesn't mean like, you know, the time and date and stuff, just like yesterday. So the 27th came and went. I'm so curious all the time when I hear these people, is one of them going to be right? Is that who's going to be right? Because there's a lot that are just putting it out there. There was one who said, so she was talking on the 26th, and she said within the next 48 hours, something really big is going to happen. So it would have to be today in her thing. But she said, and it's definitely within the week. And so she's saying within a week. It always is falling on these goddamn trip thing. Like I'm leaving in tomorrow. It's like, I've already told my mom. I've already told my sister. Shit starts going down and it starts being volcanoes and earthquakes. I'm taking that rental car, heading out. I'm not going to the airport. I'm not going to go sit and try and get a flight out and shit. I'm going. I'm just going to start driving, dodging the roads falling apart or whatever. But I'm going to head back to my dogs. And especially to Stella, like, my mom wouldn't be able to handle all that. And who knows, like, you can get trapped there for weeks or months or something. Who knows when shit's going to come back running. The airport, I mean, you don't know, like, how many people are going to die from the stuff, how many. So things are not going to just come back like, oh, well, half the people just died, but let's just get going again. No, this is going to change our perspective on things. It's going to change our priorities in a dramatic way. And so whatever the things that are going to keep happening are going to be dramatic. They're going to be about loss and breaking conditioning and stuff. And so, anyways, hold on a sec. So the world is obviously, we're still here that I know of. There's only little things that keep happening, even though they can be really dramatic to the people happening to it. But whatever's going to go is going to be very, 9/11. It's going to be very impactful. And so the let me think what I was saying. Okay, so because I wanted to, oh yeah, okay, so then there's still stuff about confirmation. There's still stuff about the beginning of this week. So she's not the only one saying it, but I don't know what her resources are and stuff. So there could still be any of the times. I mean, there's tons of people with all these premonition dreams and all this stuff, and everybody's always trying to put dates on it and stuff, which to me, time and stuff isn't real. It's the things that lead up to it. Once those things happen, then it happens. And then I kind of got confirmation of that again today, which I'll tell you in a sec. But anyways, it's interesting to watch because I am curious. Like, are any of these people going to be right? Or is some of these people who say, oh, it's definitely going to happen on this day? Because we've had lots of people say, oh, California, they're definitely going to have the earthquake starting this. And this is definitely going to happen now. And this is going to, and so it just keeps continuing and going and going. But it's definitely still going in the direction that it's going to happen. It's not all of a sudden going to stop and the earth is going to go, joke, we're good. Let's just go. You guys start raping me up again and let's go. It's not going to go like that. And so we're in the, yeah. Okay. There's seem like a bunch of things real quick. But it's like once something starts, you can't, let me think of something like, because it's like once something starts, it's going. You can't stop it and have it go back. So it's already going. It's been going a while. There's no going back. It's going. It's moving. And so, anyways, it's curious to see if there's going to be, I mean, I know that the earthquakes are coming, the volcanoes are coming, the water's coming up. Oh, yeah, on the map thing. So the map, the Edgar Cayce map, which is a little bit different over here by me. And I think it's the naval map. Most of what, like Washington State, like cuts. So going down the coast, like California's gone. Oregon, like this whole thing, like New Mexico, Arizona, like it's gone. All these places. Part of Colorado is gone. So big, huge thing comes down. Like Texas is mostly there. Like Texas seems like it's a kind of a place that's going to be a safe zone. But they've got so many things going there because I was just telling my mom yesterday, I was saying Texas has so much corruption that they've been exposing that there's a lot going on. Like they've been getting their ass kicked with this weather and shit for a while. And she said there's a whole bunch of corruption going on right now, and there's something about Abbott being exposed about something else and stuff. And I was like, that's what everything's all about. It's all about the exposing. And which Vladimir, the Z, has tried to take out the V with a drone. And I don't know, the drama and the bullshit with all this stuff. But so then the V now has surrounded the U, and they are ready. So that is also, we got the nukes back on the table again. So the the WW3 is to keep us like, shit, we don't want to go there. We definitely don't want to go there. And so it's to keep us like those blinders of turning us in a new direction. So this is pushing in, and it's all to expose the corruption stuff. So the Texas, so Texas, though, is mostly there. Louisiana is totally gone. And from Louisiana, it splits up through the Mississippi, where it all widens, where the United States becomes divided in half, which is so crazy because we're going into this divide. And because everything's micro, macro. So the country is going to become divided over there. And then the East Coast is coming out. There's a whole bunch of people warning New Yorkers and shit again, get out. There's going to be a tsunami and stuff like this coming, man. But it's very, all those places over there are very publicized. There's tons of people, and it's changing. We're all jam-packed into these places, and we've all bought in, and it's all about the life, of what you're learning from the experience and stuff. But there's some of us who are here to transition out of this experience. And so that area, all the highly populated places are going to be having things happen. And it's going to be to push people out and to take the people out who were not going forward. And so the Louisiana is totally gone, and it kind of cuts into Texas, and then it kind of I think it cuts into Alabama. I don't know all of the different states. Like, you have to go and look at how many of them and how much it takes of each one, because some get taken a lot more than others. And so on the naval projected map, it has like, it's one shape on the West Coast. It's like this certain shape. But then on the Edgar Cayce maps, which I'm pretty sure it was Edgar Cayce maps, it wasn't the naval maps, it's the Edgar Cayce maps, he shows Washington's almost entirely gone. Just over here by Spokane is left. But that was just the trippiest thing when my mom moved over here. Because I was living here first. Because of my husband that I married, that his brother lived here. I wanted to move down. We wanted to leave Southern California because it just was too expensive. It was like, want to get a place where kids had a yard and stuff like that. And so we were leaving there, and I wanted to go to New Mexico. I wanted to go live in New Mexico because it was kind of in between California and Texas. And I was not at all wanting to go north. I was like, fuck, north. I don't like the cold. And now I've grown more used to it. But but I'm still a southern, I like southern. And then, so we moved up here, and then my mom decided to move over here. And so she moved over here, I don't know, a year or two after me, I think. And then, but when she came here, I don't remember the conversation, but I had it more than once, a couple of times, that it was, she said in the Bible, there's a map, or in Revelations there's a map or something of the places that are going to be safe in whatever happens. Now, I don't know if she's talking about the Edgar Cayce map. I have no idea. But so she had said that Spokane was where we were in a safe place off this map. So she told me that way fucking decades before I ever saw anything about this naval map. And the naval map, I had heard Dolores Cannon talking about that, because she lived up in the hills of the Appalachian, and she said all of a sudden all these generals and shit started moving up there, and she's like, what the hell is going on? And I don't remember if it was conversations or what it was, but then she found out that the water, you know, the projection was the water is going to rise. That's so she started talking about the projected naval map, and then they turned it into the doomsday map, which I don't know if they kind of went with the doomsday and the naval projection, but the Edgar Cayce one is a little different over here by me. And if you really broke it down on each state and how much goes of each one, it could be different. But of course, I'm looking over at mine, and so it's almost the whole state where my daughters are and stuff. It's gone. It's all gone. There's only like we're gonna practically be on the waterfront, and then if that's the case, it would go over a lot of mountain ranges. There'd have to be some of those mountain ranges, but you know, the earthquakes and the volcanoes going to swallow them, and those mountain ranges are going to fall and collapse on themselves, because it would have to cross this most giant mountain range to bring the water all the way here. I kept thinking the water was going to stop at the mountain range, but now if it does cross over, I don't know. I would think that the mountains there would have to be some islands or something. Like, fuck, that would have to raise so high to cross. Like, what? Mount Rainier, Mount Baker, Mount St. Helens, Mount Adams. There's a bunch of fucking giant ass mountains out there. So, but also, like, there's Mount Hood. There's a bunch of giant ones in California. I'm sure there's some giant ones in Oregon too. But you know, in California, in the same in Florida, when the bottom is collapsing underneath you, you're going to go down. So Florida, and in the map of the Edgar Cayce, there's not much of Florida left. And Florida is going to mostly be underwater, but they've been battling that for a long time. So they're mostly going to be underwater. It's just going to be huge changes. Like, but anyway, so I still feel like, and even if shit start going down, I still feel like if I took off in the rental car and went from Texas, thing is I'd probably have to go through Colorado, through the mountains and shit. That could be, but I would try and find my way to get up there. But there's just so many mountain ranges, like fucking in Idaho, in Colorado, in California, Oregon. Like, I don't know what. Well, I know over on the East Coast, there's the Appalachian, the Rocky Mountains. We have a lot of mountains over here in America. There's lots of mountain ranges. And so in order to get from certain places, you have to cross them, which I'm still on this fucking thing that they hold portals and shit. Like, we should be able to just... That's what I fucking want. I want the maps of the portals. I want to know how the fuck to move around this place in the short version. Which, to me, how I was looking at it yesterday, because in my mind I was thinking about the portals and stuff. And so think about how I see it is, and I don't know all these things. Like I know that there's like a cup, like a travel cup. And you can get this travel cup, and then you can... It's like segments, and you can pull it up and you can pull it down. That is like what a portal. It's like a space and time, but you could go through it, and it's brought everything closer. So everything that's spread out. See, and they keep us in this spread out, in this travel, because I don't know, if we have these big distances we need to travel, then we need licenses and insurance. We need money for gas. We need tires. We need our cars to be running. We need this. We need that. You know what I mean? So they keep us in this stretched out version. Even with time and space, they've tried to stretch it out. And it's collapsing. It's going back. And so it's stretched, and when it goes back, it's like a rubber band. You know, they've pulled it and pulled it and pulled it. It's going to snap back. That's where, again, we're going to have this dramatic snapping, this dramatic thing where things turn suddenly. Like, it's this way, but suddenly it just flips. And I don't know. I see it as the energy of the flipping is going to be dramatic because of the resistance. And so... every time I look at it, it always seems, you know, we're going through this resistance. People don't understand what's important. They're fighting for what they think is right, but they don't realize, like, they've got you in the fight. They're just keeping you fighting with each other, thinking you're better than that group, and that group's stupid, and keeping you in division, keeping you in judgment, keeping you in your biases. You're not working them through. You're feeding them. You're watering them daily. That's where they keep you in. And then there's so many people, just regular old folks, that are doing it. And people think like, oh no, we're on the same fucking thing, man. But they don't realize, like, well, this person's talking a lot about hate and division, and kind of brings out some stuff in you. And so, anyways, but this whole thing is about recognition, awakening, and recognizing your own ploy, your own bullshit. So everybody's, and so to me, it's just always this instant of something happening, and it is almost like people are happy for a second. It's like this happy feeling, like, goes across, and then all of a sudden it's like this Emperor's New Clothes moment, where all of a sudden everybody feels naked. And so it's like, I don't know, like this plug in, like this light coming on, and all of a sudden you realize, oh, I'm a journal. I'm fucking powerful. I can do this, I can do that. And then all of a sudden, it's like you're hit with the wave of your choices, the things you've done, what you've said to people, how you've behaved and stuff. And that's the shame and guilt that you get hit with. That is the exposure of yourself, where you feel like everybody knows, everybody can see, and you feel very exposed, like the Emperor's New Clothes, because all of a sudden you realize you're naked. And then but that is only to show you where, so you can get started. It's not to shame you, even though that's what we turn it into, but it is to center you, to give you give you a view of yourself. And so, anyways, this thing, whatever it is, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And we're getting closer all the time, and there's no telling how it's going to happen. You got to remember, wherever you are is where you're supposed to be. And so, I mean, it's very tense when you're leaving your safety zone to go and fucking deal with TSA and airports and airplanes and strangers and sickness, and going to Texas it's kind of like there's a lot of shit going on. There's a lot of shit going on there. Lots of, just like the ground is selling. There's just a lot. And so anyways, it's like leaving one zone to go into the hellacious place. And then, coming back, it's just, I don't know, it's just a lot. And then, which, if we knew the portals, we'd just be able to zip over there, zip back. Wouldn't be all this fucking bullshit. So, anyway, and you could go over there more often, too. You'd be like, hey, I'll come over and see you next week, too. But, you don't have to go over there and stay. Then, also, I would be able to zip over to my uncle's. I wouldn't have to go to my brother's, then drive over to my uncle's. And I wouldn't have all of this shit with the fucking trunk either. Like how much they're going to charge me to bring it back and stuff. Which I'm really excited to see, these family heirlooms and stuff. It's not like a whole bunch of stuff. It's like there's letters and cards, like really old stuff. Letters and cards. I guess that was my mom's grandpa or her grandpa's grandpa or something. Somebody back there did something called tacking or something. Tatting or tacking or something. And it's these really cool little sew things. So there's a bunch of those. So I'll show you guys some of the stuff. There's a bunch of old pictures and stuff. But my uncle said the trunk is just really cool. And so I'm going to get the trunk and bring it, because I've got a thing for trunks anyways. And so anyways, it would just be so much easier for the travel. But this is coming into my head, because last night I get up in the middle of the night, go to the door, let's tell it to go potty, and look out, no moon. But yesterday, there was kind of like some light coming, where I was like, well, could the moon maybe be on the other side of the house? And I've thought this before a couple times. I'm like, could it be on the other side of the house, and I just can't see it? but so it would be on the complete opposite where it should be, which is everything is flipping to the complete opposite. Everything is going to the other. And so, and the moon's been going back and forth all over the place. But this is like weeks that it hasn't been over here anywhere. And so I went in and I laid down. And then right away, like I said, I'm going into these other places or something. And I don't know, because somehow I guess I was looking out a window or something on the other side of the house, and I could see the moon, and it was this little sliver of the moon. And so then I started thinking, oh, so the moon is on the other side of the house now. So that means that it's like we've turned, like we're flipped or something. And it's like this mirror image, like it was over here, now it's over here. And so I don't know, this was in a dream. And I don't even know where all this dream went, but right when I got woke up, I was, it was weird because it was with all these people and we were going to go get in a car or something. And when we started go, and the thing while we were leaving, it almost looks like a hotel or something where a lot of poor people live or something. And so a bunch of rooms and like a sidewalk up in the air thing, you know, like a deck or something where all the apartments are connected, and then down below, so kind of like a hotel or poor apartments or something. And so we started to go, and somebody's like, where are all the dogs going crazy for? So there's like so many dogs. There's tons of dogs, and they're all barking and going crazy, chasing something or something. So we started to focus on that. Well, taking my focus onto that drew me into it, because that's how you go in the quantum. And so as soon as you focus on something, it draws you into it. That's why when these people come at me with their eyeballs, I just would rather look away. Don't focus on what they're bringing you something into a portal or something. And so I was all of a sudden, I'm right there, and then I have my dogs with me, and then I see that it's a bear, and all these dogs are trying to fight this big bear. And so then in my mind, I think, oh, the bear's probably nice. And so then I notice, oh, the dogs are all like, and so my dogs are starting, I'm panicking because now I'm like, oh my, I'm trying to grab dogs, and I think I may have had some extra ones. I don't know, there was a lot of dogs. And so I start grabbing some dog, and I'm starting to go, and I'm trying to get Stella, and Stella's like not having it. She's right over here now. She's with the bear, face to face with this bear. And then I see her tail wagging, and then it was like the next thing was like the bear and all the dogs were sitting in a circle and all just sitting there together. And then all the people were like, oh, look, they all get along. And somewhere in there is where I got woke up. And so then I was like, what is so I asked Siri this morning, what is the message from the deer? Because now in these dreams I've had spiders come, bear come, and there was another animal that came into my dream. I can't remember what it was. And so I asked Siri, what is the bear's message? And how did I say it? What is the bear's message, or something like that? And so she started telling me about the beer. And so then I had to say, like, no, what is the bear's message to me or something? And so then it popped up and it said, hold on a second. It's getting cold. It said that, how was it? Something about like things can take longer than you think. You need to just go with it was basically go with the flow. Don't get caught up in the timing, and everything has its right time. And then I saw a video of a girl. After that, I saw a girl, and she said something with timing. What was it she said? I can see these other girls now. Okay, let me see what these other girls said. So the one girl, she was talking about, one of the girls was talking about her relationship, and she just got married 6 months ago. And the person that she's married to now is not the person that she was engaged to. And she's just like, she's crying. He's an alcoholic. He's just like all this stuff. And so she kept thinking like it's going to get better. Well, no, it's not. It's not going to get better. It's so crazy how many people don't realize, like, when you go into these relationships, I'm just so stuck on we go into so many relationships trying to make them permanent, and they're just there to come through our lives and teach us. And we're looking for permanence. We're looking for happily ever after. Somebody bring me my person. But the thing is like they'll bring you some persons, but they're going to be meeting you on your vibratory level, and we don't always want that reflection back. And so it's when you can steer in, when you can get into it, and you can understand what it is that you're learning and growing. But see, we all go, let's get married, and I don't know. They've marketed us on this fucking marriage shit, using these fucking princess weddings and dresses and all this shit. Like, spend $1 million on a wedding. That makes sense. God damn. There's people starving. There's people with no fucking home, but goddamn, make yourself a princess in your goddamn special day. It's like, Jesus Christ. So, of all my weddings, I've never had any, I was somebody who got married outdoors in a dress. So, yeah, I'm not one of these princess girls. So I just, and not to judge them or whatever, because they're being led by their needs. There's something they're being led from. I can just look at it and see, like, that's not the right direction. That's not the way you want to go. It's like that we're feeding into this. What was that one too? Feeding into this. Oh yeah, I was thinking about this morning, because on the awakening thing. So, so you think about the progressive agenda, and you think about how heavy it is in the bisexual, gay stereotype realm of sexuality or whatever. So it's heavy in there. Like, I don't know. I think probably most people, if you spoke to them, it would be bisexual or something. Which is, I mean, you take the other group and you're going to hell. Well, that's not true. You're here for this experience, and but we also are at this part where people don't realize, like, what love is, kind of. And I don't know, just like trying to force things, trying to make relationships, trying to make happily ever after with somebody who's passing through. So so anyways, all these people who are out, finding themselves in fetishes and S&M and all this, kind of stuff, where a lot of us would look at it and go, oh, God, that's kind of pervy. It's kind of extreme. I wouldn't do that. But there's a lot of people out there doing it. And so, a lot of them, well, there was a lot of pride, in the parade, and they were getting more and more extreme, more and more fetishy, more and more sexy. It's not about just being prideful of being who you are. No, it's about, fetish, and it's very, so the, so all those people that are more of like progressive in that way, and more out to feel themselves in all these different ways and stuff, and go to kind of extreme stuff. Well, now, when you got this stuff being exposed about Diddy and all these people and all these guys that guys thought these were guys, they were womanizing pigs, and they're just fucking slamming each other in the, so they and getting dirty up on each other, like even Steve Harvey or whatever out there with this whole fucking thing about oils. It's like, when you have perspective, it's like, this is dark and sickening, dude. You're out here telling us all about it on his fucking daytime show. Yeah, he's been with some oils and all, you just got to hear the whole thing. It's like, it keeps going and going to the point of like, this is uncomfortable. Shut the fuck up. Especially now knowing like what the fuck he's talking about. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. But so you have all of this stuff being exposed right now, all this fetish, all this stuff where the general public, the GP, they're all like, what in the pervy hell is going on, man? You bunch of sick fucks. So this other group, well, I was like, oh, so it seems a little quiet. It's like, are they all of a sudden being shown something where it's like, oh, man, I'm just out here having gangbangs and having things stuck up there and all this stuff just to, if they, somewhere they thought that was love, or if they decided not to experience love, they just wanted to experience someone abusing their body. If that's not bringing things to the surface to get them to see their own plight, their own distinct desires in a new way, you know. I was like, oh, I wonder if that, hearing all this, is making them think like, man, I just want someone to love me. I just want somebody to be committed with, to hang out with, that we get it and stuff, to be running around trying to fill my emptiness by sex and stuff. If they're starting to realize like there's a lot of, maybe look at themselves as like, maybe I've got a sex addiction problem. Maybe I've got, and sex addiction isn't just like, oh, I just got to run around having sex with everybody. It has to do with like the dopamine hits. It has to do with the chase. It has to do with more than just like, just hurry and give me a, and some people get to that point. Like there's people who get all caught up in that, and they're doing, several people a day and stuff, going from one hit to another. But that's what the sex addiction is about. There's lots of people that don't seem to understand, because the chase gives you a dopamine hit, when you get a response. And so, but it's become smaller and smaller and smaller. It used to be, more of a pursuit of, relationships or something. Now people are just like, yeah, I just need you for about 10 minutes over here in this room, in this closet, this bathroom, this wherever, out in the car, and we're all looking to feel better and then go. And then so many people after feel worse, just feel worse and dirty. And so anyways, but this would be giving a whole new perspective to some of the stuff that people keep hidden in their dark. Now it's all being exposed. It's somebody else is being exposed, but it's got to be making you look. Otherwise, you're just burying your head. So you got to be able to look at it and be like, oh, man, I do that shit too. Geez, I'm always having these freakouts at my house, inviting all the guys over, because that is definitely something in that community where it's not about misogyny. It's not about monogamy. So, anyways, I just was thinking about that. And, okay, so the bears, giving the message of timing and don't get caught up in, just go with it. Oh yeah, okay. So then the other, oh yeah, okay. So this video, the girl was saying, pay attention in your environment. And she said that, I don't know, I think she's getting ready to go to work or something. And her dog needs to go outside. So she goes, lets the dog out. The dog runs out and starts puking. Then her cat comes up, starts rubbing on her and purring on her and shit like that. So she starts petting the cat. And she said that all of a sudden she realized, like, life is happening right here, right now. Not when you're trying to rush to get to the next thing. And we need to get more in tune to our environment and more, like, go with the flow. Go let the dog out. Go sit down and see. But that's where we're all rushing to get to this next thing, where they keep you distant from your own environment, your own life, by keeping you running from a job, keeping you in drama, keeping you always focused on what you make it. You could have. You could have this. You could have that. No, you can't have anything that's not destined for you. You can't force things to be. But they get people that is out of the state of confusion for the souls. That's a part of, waking up to yourself and realizing, like, wait a minute, I've got a program I'm running. I'm here for a destined thing. The things that are meant for me are going to come to me. The people who are meant to get me to where I'm going are going to come to me. I don't have to force it. I can just enjoy the ride. And like I said, it's like these segments and then we fill them in. But really, we need to get more into just enjoying the segment. And when you get into enjoying the segment, to me, it is like it becomes more like where I feel like I'm just in segments. I'm just there, and I can't. I don't know. It's weird. Is it like, you know, I'm doing something with the dogs, taking them for a walk, doing this, doing that, cooking, whatever. Then go take a nap, and get up, start doing this, start doing all this shit again, and it's just like blocks of time, kind of. Like, I don't know, because I'm outside of the 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 run, outside of, you know, the control of, because I don't work, so they don't have me on that. And well, this to me, you know, I do this because we all have to be doing something. Like, you've got to be, it's an energetic thing. And I think that is what, you know, Donald's trying to get people to see too. Like, you know, in order to have your community be running, we all need to play a part. But see, they have kept us as slaves. And so we have to break free from that and find what is your drive. What is it you want to do? Because we all have certain things that are born into us, but we get disconnected from ourselves. And so the finding what your purpose is, what you're here to accomplish, what you're here to do, and getting more on track with that and not caught up in their pretend game thing, you know. Oh, you do this and then this will happen. You do this will happen. You find success here, you find success there and stuff, where it's all, this is bullshit. Yesterday, I started telling my mom, and it's something I've told you guys a bunch of times about the filter system. And so I was trying to explain to her how this filter system works in our reality and how they look at our kids as, you know, like how we look at livestock. It's not really that cow's baby. It's dinner for that family over there. So that's how they look at us. And so, just, you know, it's all about perspective. And so our children, as far as they're concerned, is their workers, their livestock. Is what they want to do with them. And so right away with school, so right away they've got to train them, they've got to teach them, they've got to indoctrinate them, they've got to set the pace of their minds of how they want it directed. And so they want them in school. Well, then they want them in school earlier, because school used to start with first grade. Then it was like, we need them a little earlier than that. Let's start kindergarten. So get them in kindergarten. Then after you get them in kindergarten, then it was like, well, I think we need to do a preschool. We got to get them when they're little. And so and so many people, because it's so weird how it just all happened, the way the workforce and the women in the workforce, and then that became the priority, and then it was no longer even, it's like somebody else is raising my kids, I'm at work, and it's just this whole thing that happened. And so we left the kids to be raised by the government, and we thought that the government was trying to, I don't know, were we even thinking that deep about it? Like, I mean, when I was going to school, it seemed like school had a good purpose. I mean, they were teaching us how to cook. They were teaching, and a lot of us, our moms were home. They were teaching us how to cook, they were giving us opportunities to do music, art, all sorts of stuff. Like, there was so much more at school that you did than now. Now, you know, they want them in, well, they got them how they want them. They don't know how to talk. They can't handle shit. Everything is a fucking, so, but that's to create the dependency, because then it's more, they can control them more. and then get them to not, to not be sure of themselves. So they definitely will take this because that's the best way you can MK somebody, get them on this, and then get control of their brains. That's what they want, is control of their minds. And it shows how much of our society they do control our minds, because look at how our society goes. Mindless, just following impulses, following emotions, following the guy in front of you. It's like, where's he going? I don't know, just follow him. It's like, stop following, man. So but so they get all of the kids into this system. And then the ones that like started refusing, like, I'm not sending my kids to school. So it started falling apart at that point. Once people start going towards homeschooling and questioning, then it ripples out. And so it's always going to fall apart. So their thing, though, is to go straight ass, get them, and through that school, get them straight ass in the universities, get them straight ass in the military and stuff, because that's the next layer of the filter system. And so then they, through school, especially in high school, they're already directing, I think probably in junior high now, they're already directing people. You got guidance counselors, you got the testing, and the testing is not just like what people think. It's like they are deciding who's going where and stuff. I saw a girl who was just talking about, how they decide where they're going to put prisons and how big the prisons are going to be and stuff. And she said it's based something on like third grade reading level of the area or something. Then they figure, well, they're all going to jail. It's like, okay, so we're not going to go in and try and help them learn better. We're not going to focus on the education that we are out here promising. No, we're just going to pop up a jail and wait for them to get in there because we need the prisoners. They need them for the parts because they steal their parts and bury them out back, and they steal our workforce. They break down communities. It's all a fucking thing, man. And it's so nefarious. It's so created. And so anyways, I was telling her about she's very resistant on that. And she's very patriotic and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm not saying that all the people who go in and be military are bad, but they look for people who have no morals. Then they direct them. I said, as a thing about the police force. My brother told me that when he was going to be a fireman. I think he went and took the policeman test too. And we were talking about it, and he said that you have to one of the big things on their test, because there's all this psychology test and shit, and one of the big things on their test is you have to just follow orders. You can't be resistant. You can't be confrontational with your superior and stuff. You have to just follow orders. That is what they're trained in the military. That's why they take so many of them and move them over there. And then the ones that are a lack of morals or connection to other people, see, then they move them into the some of these words. So the group that is in that heavy espionage against each other, and they own a lot of LABs, but that's not the only way they make their money. But there's a whole fucking thing over who's got the information first and all that. So the science, they're profiting off of these people. But it's all condensed or conducive to what it is their plan is. So it's not like, the people who are coming out and being like, oh, I can cure cancer, I can cure our petroleum problem, I can, those people, you have to be what their agenda is in order to, and then they'll use you. It's people like the fraud. He's all perfectly willing to kill millions of people. Well, fuck yeah, dude. You got a job with us. So, but it's been shown in so many of these movies how many of these guys get moved into these militias and stuff. And they're out here in these agencies doing stuff. And so it's all some bullshit. It's all just so much bullshit, man. So anyways, and it can turn people bad. Like, I think that there's lots of guys who went into the military all cranked up on like they're gonna save their country and stand like a man and all this stuff. And then they get in there and then they find themselves in a group situation of a pack of wolves, and they're doing bad shit, man. Real bad shit. Like torture and murder and assaulting people and like a lot of bad stuff. So certain places can feed into that darkness. Everybody else is doing it. So, and yeah, Fort Bragg, like there's different ones where there's, I don't know, heavy on the bad guys, and then don't forget they make decisions over where you're going. Like there's so much more complexity. People think like life's just happening by accident. No, it's very controlled. It's very fucking controlled. Bet your ass. And the universities, all these, Skull and Bones and all these things, those people move into these, politics, judges and shit. Like they're looking for these people, and they are the ones that don't have morals, the ones that don't give a fuck. They're gonna move into positions of power because they don't have compassion towards us, and so it's a way to keep us stifled and under control. But that system is real. This filter system of directing and setting the tone and who's going to be wearing where, like they decide. I think they decide by third grade. Nah, you're a criminal. Ah, you're a loser. Oh, you're going to be good for, there's a serial killer. Like they fucking decide. And I just saw this girl, it was a woman, and she was talking about she had to kick her 9-year-old out, and that's how she started it. But then I think she didn't kick her out. I think she sent her to a facility to live, and so she was talking about some of the shenanigans the little girl was doing and stuff, where, it's like, oh, is she a serial killer or something? But it seemed kind of like, when the things I was listening to, it seemed kind of like, she sounds kind of just more like an angry little girl who feels like nobody's listening to her. And, but see, people are just misled and stuff. We're just, as a society, we're so fucking broken. Fuck. Yeah, I can see why it has to just fracture, because it's so broken. It's why there's so many of these places have to go underwater. It's like, how would we go in and fix it? How would we go in and make it better? It's got to just go. It's just starting over. It's like, it's the easiest way. But as each individual cell or soul, then we have to like save ourselves. Like, well, I'm going, I'm staying, I'm real, I'm existing. So, anyways, but it's all gotta fall apart because there's just no way. People are so lost and stuff, but it's gonna be cool for the people who wake up, the people who are here for the other thing. It's going to be really cool to see how it transforms and how things change and stuff. But it's also going to be very dramatic. It's going to be painful for a lot of people to be shedding their old self. And all I can say is like it's worth the pain. Shedding your old self, having a look. But the biggest thing is you want to get out of the judgment towards yourself. You want to get out into that, just loving yourself, accepting yourself. That's the biggest thing. There's so much about what's going on is about learning how to accept yourself. Stop fighting yourself. And you can repair your brokenness. Like you're not stuck and broken because this happened or that happened. There's these diagnoses too. People are trapped in their diagnoses. What was that one? This girl, some young girl. She was crying, of course, because she got a diagnosis and whatever it was. So she was asking her doctor in tears, well, does that mean I'm going to die young? And she said the doctor just looked at her like, well, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. And to me, with all these people, every fucking person, every fucking diagnosis, I would fucking detox because the chemicals are fucking us up. of detox. Get the fucking chemicals out. And then you got to change your lifestyle. Otherwise, you're just consuming more chemicals and you just keep yourself on the hamster wheel of death. So you have to make changes in your lifestyle. You have to recognize, like, man, I do eat some stuff that's pretty toxic. I could probably, shave this off here, shave a little of that off there, and get a healthier, healthier intake. And so so it's a reevaluation and making changes that are good for you. But um, okay, let me see where I was. So the reevaluation of, oh yeah, okay. So she was, so I said, not only that, I would do a cleanse, because then when your body is depleted and stuff, like when something then is in decay, things start feeding off of it. And so we have all these parasites and shit that we need to, and that will weaken you. So doing the cleansing yourself up, which is a whole bunch of things, because even the CHDX is a cleanse. That's in the video that I showed yesterday. It talks about, like, this is the best way to detox all the toxins and shit out of you. And then to build up the amount you're taking, because then it starts keeping your body, like, clean. She said something about it's an oxidant. And she said you got to watch out because you don't want to take an antioxidant at the same time you're taking an oxidant, because they cancel each other out. But you need the oxidant. But if you have things you take that's an antioxidant, you got to take those later. Don't take them at the same time. So anyways, that kind of stuff. The patch, to me, it's like musical chairs, and your synapses, how things go, the domino effect. So it's built on these synapses about this sparks this, sparks this, sparks this, and it all comes like from this mitochondria, which comes from the sugars and stuff you eat, which creates the movement of the process. And so it's all of this, I don't know, to me it's like these dominoes. Each thing goes and creates the next thing. And so in this musical chairs thing, then to me it's the patch. You put that on, then it goes directly in there and it takes all the seats. So all of the things that want to sit in there, want to take you over, well, they get bumped, because the patch has the natural, so it naturally adheres to the stuff inside of you. So it takes its place. And so the things that want to go in there and grow don't have any place to grow. And so then, but you still have to expel them. Otherwise, they're like free radicals going through looking for a home inside of you. And that's why you want to get this purging this stuff out of you. And then one problem is that, like I've said, is how much they clog your filter system. So they go in, and some seem to be like gummy and stuff, and they clog in your system, which creates more clogs, which then once your filter system's clogged, then your blood's going to be clogged. And your blood's not going to be well oxygenated, and your blood's supposed to be taking the nutrition around to all your other organs. So your other organs are going to start failing because they're not getting the oxygen or the food that they need. And so then you're aging. And so all these other things that are anti-aging is because that they don't allow the process, because they keep you in a healthier state. Like, so anyways, there's tons of people out there getting these diagnoses, so many young people, so much bad shit. And to me, all of it comes down to this. But also, though, you gotta also work on your emotional, because it's mind, body, spirit. And there's a reason you are the way you are. So you gotta get down and dirty with yourself and see, why? Why do I choose this? Why do I follow along with this group? Why do I believe everything they said? Why do I believe this? Why do I believe that? And And then to keep thinking, like, these certain groups, well, they've got the good people. It's like, no, it's pretty well, there's good and bad in all this stuff. Like, I don't know. I mean, one thing, my mom was saying the other day, something about that mega church. So we were driving down to go see my granddaughter, go to the funeral, the cemetery on Memorial Day, and I went down and fixed up her thing. I think I didn't. I think that was in the video that I was talking the other day, and I had to start over. And so I don't think I told all about this. I don't know if I don't remember. But anyways, I went there and worked on hers and put all these beautiful stones in. It looked so pretty. And, but oh yeah, because so when we were driving, there was just so much traffic. I'm like, oh my God, what is all this traffic? Because it's over by this college. I was like, I wonder if something's going on there, like a game or something. And then my mom's like, well, it's Sunday. I think it's a church. There's a big mega church there. I bet you it's the church. It's the church. It's the mega church. It's mega. It's, it's a mega church. Those mega churches, they've got it all going on. I'm sitting here, like, she's not seeing that, but there's a tone. Like, I don't know. I hear things. You don't have to say everything. I can hear it. And so, and I'm thinking, you just don't even, like, for one thing, I'm thinking, how is it that anybody can think, like, the mega churches are fantastic? They know where to put that money. They don't put it into community. They put it into their big, fabulous church. We got the greatest. So, I don't know. I think I would go to a broken down little church that was doing good works in the community. That's what I think I would do. But they all go at it thinking like, well, the mega churches, they burn it out there so then it draws more people in and then they get more money. But what are they doing with it? Not, same thing as like what the government's doing with the money. Oh, we need your money. We're going to do some bullshit. Same thing. But it's just weird how the group that believes in the church and the Bible, it's like a blind following. Like, well, yeah, they're great. It's like you're not looking at the bad part. You're not looking at this other part. Because all I see is it's screaming at me. Like, how many fucking poor people are not going to eat today? But you fucking got a nice ass church, bitch. I don't know. It's just what I'm saying, there's just so many things that have to change. So many things where we have to look at it deeper. It's like, it doesn't matter what the paint you're slapping on it. What are you doing in the world? Like, you put on all the makeup you want, but what are you doing in the world? Is that all you got to offer? Like, yeah, I don't know. This is the time and space where we see ourselves. And then, are you happy? Are you happy with yourself? You feel like you're doing your best? You're doing the best you can do? You feel like, because when you're honest with yourself, this is what I think a lot of people become defensive and angry and stuff like that, is when they aren't happy with themselves. And when they think you've noticed, then they get mad at you. And, and this was kind of trippy because this was one of those perspective things where all of a sudden it's like I'm looking at it this way, but then I see this, and then I see this. And so, into this gate on my mom's porch up here. So she has these stairs that go up, and then the porch, I thought it was just a cut off deck, but no, it was open. And I was like, oh, we could put a gate there, because she had all this stuff piled there. Like, she had this, like I said, she's into rigging and stuff. And so, in one rig on top of another rig on top of another. So anyways, I said we could put a gate there. So anyways, it all fell into place, and we ended up, a couple weeks later, I'm making this gate and putting it up. And so, and her porch has a lot of stuff hanging. And so I put it up, and she wanted it to open in, and so I do all this stuff. I get it so it's open. It's so solid. It's like, fuck, man, it's good. It's great. But I had to flip the thing. I don't know. It was something. But anyway, so I had it. And And while I'm doing it, I've got these beads all in my hair, beating me down while I'm trying to do this, slamming into me. I'm like, and one of them fell, and I was like, oh, well, it opens in, but you're going to have to take these beads down. You have to move them. Hell no. I like those. And those aren't moving. I'm just like, but there's a lot of places that, no, that's where they're going. That's where I like them. That's where they're going. And to me, I'm thinking, this is wacky. So move. So now the gate is no longer like this. Now it's like this. It has this one little thing holding it. It's like, well, that makes it. It's just taking out these beads hanging, so you have an obstacle course to get in. So I'm going to walk through an obstacle course. I'm like, I don't know. It's not very inviting. I don't know. But it's what she likes. It's what she likes. And so, to me, I kept thinking, like, this is just wacky, man. I don't get it, but it's not my porch. It's not my deal. It's let it go, let it go. It's not my deal. I'm just like, let go, let go, let go. And so, anyways, yesterday, because now I'm like, well, this has got to be more secure if the dogs are going to be out here. Like, someone's going to bust through that. And I don't know. It was like different kinds of solution. Like, it makes, bunky corded, and then one board got broke now. The other, it's just like, oh, it just seems so simple. No, it's so convoluted. And so then, I'm thinking, like, this is so wacky. I don't get it. But then all of a sudden, I was like, seeing it through, it was like a bunch of different perspectives at once. Then all of a sudden I was seeing it through my perspective of being in the experience with my husband. Well, I want it to be this way. Well, no, it can't be that way. It's got to be this way because this is the right way. The right way is this way, and that's the way it's got to be. You can't do it this way. It doesn't matter how you like it. It's not going to be that way because it's going to be this way. And then I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, do it the way you like it, man. Do it how you like it. Don't do it just because it has to be the right way. Do it how you want to do it. But then it was just like this way of seeing all of a sudden through these different perspectives, which was giving me like these insights all of a sudden. Where I was like, yeah, like, when you're on the other side of somebody trying to tell you you can't have it the way you want it, you got to have it the way they want, then it's like some fuckery. So it's like, yeah, I'm not going to go up and say, I mean, I will say, like, well, my dogs are going to be out there and stuff. Like, we got to, push a couch up against it or something. Like, something's got to be done. Otherwise, you're going to be chasing dogs around out here in the neighborhood. So, anyways, it was just so funny because this has been so much on my mind. Like, I don't understand this obstacle course. I don't understand this unsteady thing. I just couldn't wrap my head around it at all. I kept being like, this makes no sense. This makes no sense. This makes no sense. But then I can see it like that's how my husband felt. Like, doesn't make any sense. Why would you want to do it this way just to have it look a certain way when it's not going to work? And it's like, I don't know. It was so trippy because all of a sudden it was just like I could see through all of these things. And it wasn't just seeing them. I could totally feel like, man, we just are all like coming from different perspectives. And they're all valid. There's not an invalid perspective out there. There's no reason to argue. There's no reason to feel insecure. There's no reason to be defensive or anything. Your state of being, your state of mind, is yours, and it's part of your lessons, it's a part of your thing, whatever those are. If it's like it didn't work or it did work, that's what you're here to experience. Follow your own instincts, follow your own gut and shit. Don't be led by what others say. What was the one yesterday too? Because we were talking about something. Oh, yeah. We were talking about something, and I was talking about a couple different things that I've told my one daughter. And I said, I'm so glad that she didn't listen to me. And she followed her own instincts, because at the time I was misleading her, thinking like this was one thing. And then all of a sudden you start seeing like, oh, it's different than what I thought. And so, but we try and tell people, go do this. I'm just so glad. I said, I'm so glad that she listened to her instincts and not her mother. And that is that we all have to kind of get into that kind of thing. And that's kind of been one of my things that has been going here too. It's like the parking place, like a lot of things. It's like pulling out of this, somebody telling me what to do and how to do it, because then you're no longer in your own lane. And so we need to get comfortable in our own lanes, driving ourselves, and then dealing with what we deal with. And then we also, on a secondary note, we have to also stop trying to tell people how to drive and let people go and, deal with their stuff. And if we're along for the ride and there's a crash, well, we're there for a reason. So we just gotta, I don't know, it's like a much more singularity, a much more, that's the sovereignty, that's the expansion, this coming into our own. Quit relying on others, quit, it's just this whole thing, this evolution of self. It all comes down to you figuring you out, being the you that you want to be, throwing away the parts of you that you don't want to be that, fixing it. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be controlling. I don't want to be judgmental. Fix it. Figure out why do you do that? And the way to figure it out is to catch yourself. When you're doing it, catch yourself and ask yourself, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Why do you think that? Why are you feeling that way? And then let yourself show you. Don't block yourself. But so many people just go into judgment, and so anyways, that's when this shit goes down. There's going to be so much, for a moment, it's going to be happy for a second. There's going to be a split second in there where it's going to be like a relief or joy or something, but it's going to be just hit hard right behind it with grief, shame, guilt. The pain and suffering is going to come up to the surface, but it's not because, we don't deserve good. No, it's because it's got to be purged out. You got to get rid of this shit. That's the way forward. So, anyways, I say it every day. I tell you day after day. But that's what it is. I'm telling you. So, anyways, just remember what you're doing here. You can't go wrong working on yourself, no matter what, But follow your own instincts. Don't just do it because I say. Go in and sit with yourself. Try and figure out, what am I doing here? Because you may not be here for the same reason I'm here. You may be here for a totally different reason, and you're got to be the leader of your reason. You got to lead the way. And so, finding your own truth, finding what you believe in has great value. So, but what I believe in is learning how to love yourself, learning how to love everybody, and learning how to have the day you want has great value. So anyways, but I'll talk about it again tomorrow. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.